Chapter 7, Dee Dee. While Des eats his pizza, he thinks about Katie's comments about Dee Dee, and memories overcome him. He met Dee in high school, noticing her immediately. Her long honey brown hair almost touched her ass, and she had the most unique amber eyes he'd ever seen. Des was taken aback by her, but didn't know how to approach her. They'd had some classes together, so eventually they met. When he got to know her, he realized that she was funny and goofy, and it made him want to spend more time with her. During the next couple of years, Des and Dee Dee formed a solid friendship that grew stronger, one where they were always there if the other needed someone to talk to or a shoulder to cry on. Over the years, there had been some intimate moments between them. It had started out as teenagers hooking up here and there. He remembered the first time they'd kissed at a party. They had both been a bit intoxicated. Dee Dee's lips had been so fucking soft, and he could tell that she hadn't had a lot of experience by the way she kissed him back. They never dated, but seemed to be in the same place at the same time a lot. He even took her to a dance her sophomore year because no one had asked her, and Dee was devastated. She looked beautiful in her burnt orange dress. He lost his mind when he first saw her coming down the stairs at her house. Never having learned to dance, she taught him that night. Being able to hold a developing Dee in his arms had made him so horny the entire evening. When the dance ended, they went down by the lake, sat in his beat-up truck, and made out. She seemed to have a bit more experience than she had with their first kiss. They were all over each other, like dogs in heat. He finger-fucked her that night in his truck, loving the soft, musky sounds coming out of her mouth. The way she would say his full name, Desmond, was unbelievable. She only rubbed over his hard cock through his pants. He would never pressure her, so Dee jerked him off, and he came in his dress slacks. But it was probably one of the best experiences he'd ever had in his entire life. Time went on. They both entered and ended relationships with others, but they always seemed to connect here and there. When his family's tragedy took place, and then later as he built his business venture, including the shop's reputation and clientele, he didn't see Dee Dee often. He'd heard she'd gotten married and had some kids. From the little Des knew, her old man was an asshole, but both kids were cute as buttons, he was told. Then, out of the blue, Dee Dee answered the ad he had posted for an office manager. If Des had thought she was something in high school, he would have been wrong. Now, she was a total knockout. She was a curvy woman just the way he liked. She stood around 5'6" and had a shape on her that caught every guy's eye. Dee Dee had an hourglass figure with a rack that drew his eyes all the time, a small waist and hips, with an ass that made his mouth water daily. Her legs were nice and firm and made her look taller than she was. She had been in a brutal situation that had needed to come to an end. Dee needed a job with some form of income before she left the asshole she was living with. Turns out, when Dee Dee took the job in the shop, her ex thought that meant a meal ticket. Des knew things weren't healthy or safe for a while, but when she showed up to work one day with black and blue bruise marks up and down both arms, he knew it couldn't go on. She sported a busted lip, a black eye, and had been holding her two small children's hands when she asked Des for help. It was then that he realized how bad it actually was. Des gathered up some of the guys from the shop and some of his biker buddies to pay a cordial visit to the asshole. Dee never heard from him again. Des helped her into a house in town that had enough room for her and the kids. It was a transition for Dee Dee and the kids. Des was there for them throughout all of it. Time and less stress seemed to help Dee heal from her abusive relationship, though she really never dated or even went to dinner with anyone that Des knew about. He paid attention, which didn't seem fair as he was fucking anything he could. In return for his help, Dee kept the shop running efficiently, and she mothered all the guys there. Dee helped with every pregnancy scare the boys went through. She also counseled the boys through breakups and dramas. She never played favorites with any of the boys, and they all loved and respected her. Between running the shop and raising her two kids, Dee stays busy. Her kids now work around the shop on weekends and during summer break for extra cash. Des likes both Jagger and Daisy, probably because they're from their mama. They're exceptional kids that work hard and never seem to give their mother a hard time, which for teenagers is almost a miracle. Jagger's a 15-year-old long-limbed boy trying to grow into his body. He's quiet, even-tempered, works hard, and never causes any trouble. Jagger seems to like watching both Wolf and Doc build the bikes. In the last year, he's been helping with small repairs on the bikes. Jagger is saving all his money because he wants to either build his own bike or buy one of the older ones in the shop. Dee is not too happy about that, but hasn't told Jagger no yet. Des noticed lately that Jagger's hanging around the shop even when he isn't working, mainly when Des is at the shop. Knowing the kid doesn't have a dad touches Des in a way he doesn't understand, but he loves having Jagger around, so doesn't question his intentions. Daisy is 13 and a total knockout like her mother. She's a smartass with attitude who loves to push everyone's buttons. On more than one occasion, Dee has had to step in to rescue her young daughter from her smart mouth. Daisy has a crush on Cadence and has been following him around like a little puppy for years. Dee has already had a talk with Cadence, warning him that if he ever touches or hurts her daughter, no one would ever find his body parts. For once, Des saw Cadence actually have some real fear in his eyes. Cadence watches out for Daisy like he would a kid sister, which Daisy is not fond of. She doesn't think of Cadence as a brother since he's her first teenage crush. God help us all when she moves on from Cadence to a boy closer to her own age. Dee Dee will lose her mind. On the whole, Dee Dee's household is perfect. Des would love to pursue Dee, but as far as he knows, she tends not to date at all. And if it didn't work out again, he would feel like shit because it would affect the kids. Des, against his better judgment, has come to care a tremendous deal for Jagger and Daisy. Not to mention how that would affect the dichotomy of the business, while he is the owner and Dee works as the office manager. If the relationship didn't work out, it could mess with his shop. Since this is all he has, Des has to consider all involved. The guys all assume he wants Dee for himself. They don't know that after Dee left her asshole ex, for a while, they had a sexual relationship. It didn't happen overnight because she'd had to heal from the ex's abuse in her body, her spirit, and most important, in her head. But it had happened, and to this day, it shocked him. Their connection was intense, hot, sensual, and rewarding. But for some reason, they'd never taken it all the way to actual intercourse, just oral, hand jobs, or finger fucking. They would spend time together either at the shop or his house. Remembering how she would blow him instantly makes his cock start to harden. As her children grew older, Dee didn't want to give them the wrong impression. She'd explained this to Des, and together they had decided it was best to end that part of their relationship. It seemed to be a hard choice for both of them for different reasons. To this day, the sexual tension is there, and he can feel her eyes on him when they're in the shop together, but he has not stepped over that line again. That was what Katie was for, the occasional sexual encounter with no commitment. But that didn't work out like he thought it would, as tonight revealed. He's getting too old to sit around and wait for the perfect time to become involved with Dee again, while fucking all the easy women around town and surrounding areas. The time might finally be right to see if he and Dee Dee have anything besides just the obvious chemistry and undeniable friendship. Des thinks, just maybe, because of her most welcome but unscheduled visit tonight, he wants to pursue her now that Katie's gone. The problem is, Dee knows about Katie and all the other women from all the talk in town. Des isn't sure how she feels about his wicked ways, but now he's willing to put the time in to find out.